no matter how educated you are, if you haven't traveled very much, you're retarded.
It doesn't really always include culture, but I guess culture is like the easiest thing to think of. Just how like maybe a popular idea might spread to different countries, you know, all across the world. They just see like one common idea, I guess.
I don't know.
I would think globalization would just be maybe like all countries kind of becoming involved within maybe consumer markets and just maybe one people's culture moving over and taking another's culture, just a blend of cultures.
What happens in other societies like affect other societies.
And just kind of everything kind of interconnects and intertwines and merges in a sense. Almost like America, I guess, with different cultures combined, melting pot, that sort of thing.
Student organization, which is the home for all the different country organizations. And we have a social hour every Friday at 4 o'clock, which all the different countries come together and socializing conversation. It's a real good time to meet other international students.
Being trained to remember a lot of things, use mental math. There was a lot of emphasis on mental math. Until my first year in college, I was not allowed to use a calculator.
It's very theoretical, and you get into the practical stuff afterwards, like when you're in university and stuff. And I think in America, even in high schools and in like middle schools, y'all, you know, do the practical stuff so it can sink in. And notice my y'all, I've become Southernized.
The education system in the United States is, I would say, very, very easy as compared to our country.
Well, I grew up in 5 different countries. So it was Kenya, Nigeria, Zambia, South Africa, and now I live in Antigua. So it's like education system, all those countries were all colonized by the British. So they enforced more manners into schools. Like school wasn't just to learn stuff like, you know, academic stuff, but it was also there to help you with your, you know, your character and how you presented yourself. So like every time a teacher walked in, you always had to stand up and be like, "Good morning, Mister."
Our systems are probably more international based. Like we have American systems, we have international baccalaureate. I did the British system, I did the IGCSE system. There's a French system. There's Indian system.
In India, you have to ask your professor's permission to drink water. You're not allowed to eat inside a classroom. You're not allowed to talk to your neighbor. You're not allowed to distract the instructor. The first time when I was in a classroom, I remember it was an American professor, Dr. Hodel, in electrical engineering. And as always, we were like 10 minutes early to the class. And when the instructor came into the class, I was the only guy who stood up. And everybody started looking at me, and I don't realize, and then I just sat down immediately.
Globalization to me is a way in which people get connected through many different means. Internet could be an example, like Facebook or YouTube.
Globalization is to break down those barriers that we've built around ourselves, to make everything more transparent, to make everything more competitive, and help everybody improve.
I think globalization it affects education in a good way, honestly. I think because information is now easily spread across and around compared like to 50 years ago, you know what I'm saying? So I think globalization really is having a good impact, well, more of a good impact on education than it is a bad impact on education.
British system in Kuwait, so I used to speak like this. I used to speak like a British person, and I used to ask for a bottle of water. Nobody would understand what I was saying, so I had to learn to say bottle of water.
I think globalization affects technology. It boosts technology. That's what I think. I think like if you're trying to fix something, usually you end up calling someone in another country, and thanks to globalization, that's possible. If this was 50 years ago, there weren't any laptops 50 years ago, but like if you had to fix something 50 years ago compared to now, I mean, you can pretty much fix anything yourself thanks to globalization.
We're a small country and we don't produce a lot of technology, so we end up using a lot of different technologies. It's like we use Japanese, Chinese, American, British. If you've traveled more, then you have a bigger realm of understanding, and it's easier for you to pick up new things and then take new things and make them better and make them apply to your thing, you know?
And I wish I could say the things you do.
You rock. I had you like 2 semesters ago. I love you. You're awesome.